Welcome to the Loading Bar. This is Professor Jeff. I have with me, as always, the Murph, Jason Murphy.
Hey.
The Ass Crusher, Nick Hodges.
Hello, hello.
And Kevin J. Baird.
Hello. What's going on?
How's it going, everybody?
Oh, you know.
Not much, no.
Okay, so we're here today talking about Ocarina of Time for the 3DS. And
The greatest game ever made.
Do you think?
Is it?
No, I really don't. Everybody else on the internet seems to.
So, Jason and Kevin, you guys played through this. I played it a little bit. Nick, you haven't played it. To be honest, I don't understand this game. And Jason and Kevin, maybe you guys can fill me in on this, because everybody talks about Ocarina of Time like it's like getting a blowjob at the Sizzler, like on all you could eat steak night, and I'm just not seeing it.
Wait. Do we have Sizzlers here in Austin? I was unaware of this feature. Maybe it's not on the menu, probably for good reason. But neither the Sizzler nor the 3DS offers me oral pleasure.
I mean, I could just say that, about the game. The thing is, it's not like a real RPG. It's really kind of arcadey. Like, it's all, these like boss battles that you have to like find the weakness, and just like you would be doing like with an old Metroid game. And there's a lot of like jumping on platforms, like a platformer, and falling, and it feels dated to me. I mean, I could kind of understand back in the day when those games were popular that it might have been like the pinnacle of that type of thing. But platformers are kind of stale bread these days, and I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of with you. I didn't really enjoy it too much. It was improved over the old one. I mean, if you like the old one, it's much improved, but it like in the sense of like the menu scheme and everything, and some of the graphics look really nice, but it's still the same game, and it's on a smaller screen, so I mean, I'm not sure why anybody would want to really go out and buy it again.
What's the 3D like in this game?
Like any other 3D, you forget you're doing it after a while. You just forget it's there.
Did you guys actually play with the 3D turned on? Because I turned that off. I tried turning it all the way down. It was still just giving me a headache, so I turned it off after about 10 minutes.
I would go back and forth, actually. But yeah, I would turn the 3D all the way up, and then I'd start vomiting, and then I'd turn it down. And I'd wipe the puke off the screen and keep at it, because... Yeah.
Sometimes it makes it look nicer, when you're looking out like over like a horizon or something, or you're just trying to get your depth of where you are and everything. But for the most part, you could just shut it off. I mean, whether it's there or not didn't seem to really matter.
Now, this is another one of those games that Nintendo keeps doing this, and I really don't understand why, where there's motion controls in a game where you have to keep the system perfectly still in front of your face. Yeah. Like, I don't understand what genius it is over at Nintendo that's like, we have this accelerometer, so you should aim your slingshot by turning around like a jackass in the middle of your apartment trying to find the enemies to shoot at.
Right. And if you have the 3D turned all the way up, all it's going to do is give you a migraine and make you crap your pants.
Legend of Zelda, of course, I don't think we need to really recap much of the story. I mean, this is pretty much the same Zelda game that we've been playing for the last 10 years now.
Was like Link trying to rescue his girlfriend again.
I didn't get far enough in it to know that for sure, but, Kevin, Jason?
Oh, he gets quested with a big tree that dies or whatever, and he has to get up. There's like a girl there, and she's sad that he's leaving. I didn't go through it enough to know if at some point the evil prince or whoever comes and takes her away. Maybe that happens at some point.
Ganondorf. Yeah, that does happen.
I got pretty far down into it, though, and that didn't happen, so I'm not sure.
Now, Jason, did you beat the game?
Long time ago, back when it was on the N64. Not now. My skills have atrophied. But yeah, it's, everybody, like you were saying earlier, everybody talks about this game, and if you check on like game rankings or what have you, it is the highest ranked game of all time.
Bullshit.
Which, I don't know. I can argue with that. I think it's a really good game. I think it's one of the great games. It's really cool. It's got a lot of variety. It mixes up the gameplay a lot, and they've prettied it up now. You've just got so much you can do. It's not terribly linear, but the storyline is pretty linear. You've got some extra little mini games like fishing and bowling and stuff like that. But yeah, you really unlock each area with different items that you get, different gear, So it is really kind of the pinnacle of Zelda games, I think.
It's your pretty traditional Zelda format where you go back and kind of open stuff up once you get the bombs or the hook shot or things like that.
Exactly. Yeah, my biggest problem with the game is the mechanics, the play mechanics. which were bad enough on the N64, but they were excruciating on the DS. And we've kind of already touched on that, but you've got this boomerang, for instance. When you throw your boomerang, your attention locks on it, and you can't look away from the direction your boomerang is going, even if you miss. And I'm just like, I know it's coming back, but right now I got to get the hell out of the way because this giant electric toadstool eel thing is about to eat me or fry my ass. But no, I'm sitting there waiting for my boomerang to come back, and meanwhile I'm getting waylaid by something I can't even freaking look at.
So that's a good question for people who played the original and are looking to play this again. Is kind of a, if you missed it when it came out with the Wind Waker on the GameCube and you're really just jonesing for this game, the mechanics are pretty much are mostly unchanged from the N64 version. Is that correct?
Well, you change the buttons around, so that's
that's different.
Yeah, that's different because you don't have, the N64 controller was a weird creature, but I had a better time controlling that with my giant mongoloid hands than I do the 3DS, because I'm like fumbling with the 3DS and yet trying to keep it perfectly still while I'm getting chased by a giant monster and focusing on this boomerang that has gone off in the complete wrong direction because the targeting is a little wonky. Am I right? Did you guys have problems with that? It's like I would hit the L1 button to target.
Yeah.
The left trigger.
Yeah.
And it just wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, I had that problem too, especially at the very beginning of the game when the skeletons came out and it seemed like I'm trying to hit an enemy. I've got the L1 button held down and he's just fucking looking over there. I don't know what's over there that's so interesting to him, but
right. Yeah, so that alone really, really damages the game for me. It was just so clumsy, and it made I don't think I've ever screamed as many profanities at an electronic device as I ever had. And that thing's got a microphone, so I know it can hear me. It knows I'm pissed.
Did Nintendo add that into the game where you see Link just like flipping the bird at enemies?
Right. Yeah. But really, what I spent most of my time screaming at, and I know you guys are with me, is Navi. I hate that goddamn fairy.
I've heard so much on the. I mean, you can't be into games and not get exposed to the tropes from Ocarina of Time, and I've heard that, but it didn't really. It didn't really bother me. I mean, I don't know. I kind of expected it to be more oppressive than it was, and I was like, oh, is that it?
Oh man, it was maddening, especially during a boss fight. For those of you who haven't played it, Navi is your little fairy spirit that kind of helps you out and points stuff out and everything. But really, when it comes down to it, you're like, yeah, I got it, okay. And in the middle of a fight, in the middle of a boss fight, you've got this little thing with this little voice flitting around your head, and you're trying to play, and it's going, hey, hey, listen, hey.
Yeah.
Shut up, Navi. I know. Hey, there's a giant monster trying to... shut up, Navi. And it's just on and on. I'm like, I'm trying not to die here, you little bitch. Shut up.
And it has that context, like, sensitive A button, too. Like, when you walk up to jump on something, it switches what the button does to, like, jump or climb or whatever. Or it takes Navi out of your pocket or puts it back in your pocket or something. So, like, constantly, like, walking up to people, like, thinking I'm going to talk to them or something, and then Navi, like, comes out, goes back in. Like, all the time in the game. And I'm just like... this is it's just a bad game mechanic.
Yeah, but that button seemed to have some kind of psychic power to always figure out exactly what I didn't want to do. like, don't pull out my sword, I want to roll. No, don't jump, I want Navi to talk to me. Like, every time, it was just the exact opposite of what I wanted. It actually seemed like, because on the screen, it would flip between what it was going to do, and it seemed like, okay, it's going to be roll, and then as soon as I hit it, it would switch to fucking eat a sandwich. And be like, no! Damn it!
Right? Or when you walk up to a block and you want to pull it, and then you just climb up on it. It's like, no! But still.
One advantage that the game does have, I guess it's an advantage, is that if you get stumped on some of these things, rather than going on GameFAQs or whatever, you can actually, if you die, or you can go back to, I forget the name of the camp, Hyrule or whatever, and you can go to these little tiki things. I forget what they're called, that you crawl underneath. And
this game made a real impression on you, didn't it, Kevin?
Well, they got all these weird words. I'm not going to memorize all of them, man.
Right.
It's just
he's right. The grimacing little statue you crawl under. Yeah.
And then it shows you a video of how you defeat whatever it is that you failed at.
Yeah.
And so you can basically figure out every weakness, without, looking it up on the internet, or trial and error. If you've got no life, you're bedridden, whatever, you want to just keep button combinations pressed or something.
That seems to be, that I don't know if it's just because this is because it's an older style game, but I was really getting that kind of old vibe off this that was, here's the game, and you're just supposed to play it for 40 hours and just try everything until you figure out what you're supposed to do. Like, there's just some guy mentions in passing, just go over there and do something. And so you go to some town and you're doing everything. You're throwing chickens at stuff and trying to hit people with slingshots. It's just like, what do you want out of me, game? Like,
yeah, exactly. Or they tell you, go to Death Mountain. Where is it? It's over there by the thing.
Just, you'll find it. Just keep going.
I know. But yeah, no, Kevin's right. You crawl under those little tiki things and you have visions. It's like you're going into a smokehouse on an Indian reservation and having a peyote powwow.
It sounds like the cave out of Empire Strikes Back, where you go in there and
right. Only what you take with you. But yeah, you go in there and it shows you how to solve these things, which is pretty cool, unless you find the little statues after you've already beat it. I'm like, ooh, it's going to show me some cool vision. Okay, what's going to happen? And then it shows me what I just did that I had agonized over for like an hour. And I'm like, oh, yeah, thanks. I was there. I know what happened. Great. Where were you before I went into the death cave with the giant turd monster rocks that would roll up and roll around the cave at me?
Yeah, so they just or if you die, they'll show you those videos, which, it's also just like they're laughing at you. They're like, look how easy we can do, that we probably.
What are you, stupid? Look.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think the game is there really is a lot there to like, but there's so many play mechanics that are just a pain in the ass. You know what you want to do. You're trying to do it, but it's just not letting you do it because the button didn't, you didn't target it right, and it didn't react like it should have, or something like that. And plus, I want to see at the end, I want to see a secret ending where Link just takes Navi and grinds that little bitch under his boot heel.
But is it a pick up and play game? Like, if I was to get a Nintendo 3DS, like, could I play it on the train or something and then just forget about it? Or is it like a really in-depth kind of story that I have to follow all the way through?
I don't know what the hell was going on. You got to get some spirit stones, and then you got to find the Triforce and rescue somebody. No, it's linear enough to where you can probably dive back in if you put it down after a while. But I can also see how you would get lost and be like, wait, now what am I supposed to get first? The hell with it. I don't care.
Yeah, but the game is so inscrutable about telling you what you need to get anyway that it just seems like that all the time, at least to me.
Doesn't it have like a inventory, like quest thing, like you have to do this now, or you have to go to the next...
No.
Nothing like that?
No.
No, it's really kind of like a platform game. I mean, it's kind of linear. I mean, you have items that you use, like you can switch stuff around, but I mean, you're really not like leveling up and looking at your hit points and any of that kind of stuff in a game like this. I mean, it's you're just a guy running around switching out a few pieces of equipment and just doing quests.
Now, how did you guys feel about the up-res and the graphics, about the work that Nintendo's done taking that game and redoing the textures and everything to make it palatable to today's audiences?
I thought it was pretty.
They
made a lot of good improvements. Yeah, because the N64, if you look at it, there it's a little bit drab in parts. You can tell it's an N64 game and looking at it. I mean, it was revolutionary for the time, just about. But now it's really pretty piss poor. But if you look at it on the 3DS now, I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really good, but at the same time, it's just one of those things. Though I don't think that's going to really draw anybody in. I mean, if they've never played it before, then this is a good game. You're going to enjoy it. It's fun. I mean, we're nitpicking it pretty much, but this is really a good all around game. But if you've played it on the N64, I don't think the improvements are going to bring you to want to play this all the way through again. I mean, personally, I don't. I mean, why would you want to? It's just torturous at times.
Right. I think if they had a game that was this good, but a new story and it fixed some of the problems with the original one, just a new Zelda game that looked like this, that'd be great.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But come on, Jason, Nintendo's never going to make a Zelda game that's not the exact same Zelda game they've made over and over again.
Pretty much.
They tried that with Majora's Mask, and everybody was like, boo. So, I think that Nintendo... I played Skyward Sword at E3, and it was Zelda. It's always the same.
Yeah.
You guys have anything else on your minds about this game that you'd like to say?
I'm going to give it a buy.
You going to give it a buy?
Yes, but I can't argue with anyone who would say, nah, it's because I completely understand. It's riddled with problems, and it is a great game, and it's very overrated.
Okay. Kevin?
Yeah, I give it a buy as well, with the the caveat that if you've already played it, it's probably not worth going back to.
I think I would probably give it a low buy as well, just because there's nothing else. What else are you going to play on the 3DS right now? It's kind of. This seems like such a backhanded comment, but God, that thing has a weak lineup at the moment. So
yeah, and I was really excited about this, but that was all nostalgia,
Link, here come to town.